Assalamu alaikum and welcome to The Entrepreneur. Once again, I have with myself a very influential and inspirational guest. Always do, especially in the business sector. Now, obviously, he's an influential business entrepreneur, being the director of Spice Lounge, which is in Oxford, which I believe is a restaurant, and Al Amin Oxford, which is a cash and carry, the cash and carry trade. Now, he has definitely mastered the restaurant trade, and also I'm sure he's doing a fantastic job in the cash and carry trade. Yes, I do some research with my guests. Let's welcome Mr. Samad Ali. Welcome, Samad Bhai.
Assalamu alaikum.
It's a pleasure to have you on the guest, as all my guests, and with a busy schedule. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me, sir.
How are you feeling? Good?
Alhamdulillah, very good, thank you.
Fantastic. Now, Samad Bhai, you're not only a successful businessman, but you're also a bit of an entertainer, I can see, if I may say so. Most of the events we see you in, and especially in Facebook, and you do inspire people. I'm definitely a fan, right? But I mean, look, it's not about the entertainment business here, and we're not. We can talk about your entertainment skills another day. Now, with regards to business, as a young boy, have you always wanted to be in business?
I think it comes back to your show again, inspiration.
Yeah.
As a young person, initially, no, I had other hopes.
Right.
I went to school, I did my GCSEs, I went to college, I did my A-levels, I made an application to university in London. I think it's one of those things you kind of accidentally get into.
Okay.
I was working in the restaurant trade as a part-timer.
Yep.
I've worked in insurance as a part-timer. I've worked in Tesco's as a part-timer.
Wow.
I've worked in McDonald's as a part-timer.
So a lot of experience.
Way before going into business at 18. So from the age of about 14, I've done part-time work. And I think that kind of molded me to where I am today and as the person that I am today.
Right.
At 16, once I finished my GCSE, I made an application to do my A-levels. I did my A-levels, completed, made an application for university. But working in the restaurant kind of always in the background was sort of in my head, because I've seen many UK successful restaurateurs. And I enjoyed my part-time years working in the restaurant, interacting with customers. I always used to get complimented on how much of a people's person that I am. And it came naturally to me. Yeah, naturally to me. So I thought, well, perhaps, you know, if something should come about, then that's what I'd like to do. You know, I had never thought that I'd be not going to university and I'd be doing my own business. However, an opportunity came about.
And you took it.
And I took it.
Fantastic. I mean, all these things you mentioned with regards to working part-time in various different places. Would you say, I mean, it was definitely an experience that you gained, and
Absolutely.
it helped you to mold to what you later became?
Absolutely. I think once you work for others in different industries, you know, I've worked in a hotel, 5-star hotel, as in a banqueting suite. So I remember we were doing one banqueting night, and it was the Oxford United football team.
Okay.
So they had brought in all their directors, chairmen and such. And it just, I suppose it gives you an insight into different fields.
Absolutely.
You know, and I just enjoyed it because I saw, look, I'm doing kind of catering and I'm meeting all these different people. You know, if I'm in an office type job, I don't know who I'm meeting. I might be stuck on my own with a telephone and a pen and paper.
That's one of the best parts of being in the catering business, because you've got you know, all these different individuals coming in, and you know, they share their experience, and you know, when you have your chit chat and everything, you learn a lot, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's one of the best parts, I think.
I think that's one of the privileges of being in a restaurant. You get people from all walks of life. You know, one of my first businesses that I owned in Oxford, we're very, very fortunate. We had the likes of Bill Clinton.
Wow.
Chelsea Clinton.
Really?
Absolutely. We've got pictures. I'm not one of those people who like to have pictures on the wall showing, you know, this and that.
Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should.
Maybe,
I mean,
yeah, sometimes it's good for
business.
It's good for business. Sometimes it is. But it just goes to show, if I were not involved in such business, we would not have a world leader,
Yeah.
you know, coming through the door.
No,
you know,
definitely.
Also, it's about where you're located.
Absolutely.
Having been in Oxford, I feel very, very privileged, and I thank my father all the time to have chosen Oxford as his place of life. You know, I think when he came to the UK, he worked in Bournemouth or in the coastal areas. And because his sister, his brothers, they were all in Oxford, he decided to move to Oxford. So I always thank him for that, because I think it is a bit of a privilege to be able to live in Oxford and live your life in Oxford. It is an expensive town.
I'm sure.
But it comes with, I think anything comes at a price.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And I thoroughly love it. You know, when I come into London, I love London. It's the capital of the UK. And it's one of the best cities in the world.
Very busy city as well.
Very busy city.
You're in a nice...
it's tranquil.
Absolutely,
It's
yes,
tranquil.
that's what I was going to say.
We kind of have a best of both worlds, because we're so... we have a lot of greenery, and we're kind of...
I really appreciate those parts of the UK, and is vice versa. I mean, when you come from Oxford to London, I'm sure you appreciate London. You know, the buzzingness and so forth. We also appreciate that. I mean, the other day, I went to. Somewhere near Oxford. Okay, and you know the roads and everything. It's just you appreciate that.
Great.
The countryside, we appreciate it. So you know the grass is always greener on the other side, as we say. Now, with regards to obviously it's a privilege being in Oxford, and that's one of the and you know having all these individuals, Bill Clinton and people of their likes, definitely is good for business. Now, what I was going to say is. And this is for obviously young viewers, mostly young viewers who watch this show, and we want to inspire them with the likes of you who come and talk about their passion behind business and how they became successful. And just to go to the viewers, you know, everybody wants to be a millionaire, and it's something that I was discussing earlier on. And I've got an 18-year-old boy as well, and you ask him, you want to be a millionaire? And yes, I want to be a millionaire. Well, have you thought about how you're going to become a millionaire? And they don't have a clue. And this is the reason we have guests such as so, you know, listen to Samad Bhai, and as you can see, he's a young entrepreneur, and he's done quite a lot in his life. Now, we've talked about the restaurant business, and I can relate to that because I've been in the trade from the age of 15, and that's where the passion came in, and you've got to be a people's person. Now, with regards to your cash and carry, how did you go about? Is it from one thing led to another again?
I think it is slightly, it coincides with each other, because sometimes Oxford's not that big. And there are several occasions where I'm sure if you're in catering, you realize your chef's forgotten to order something. And then you run to the shop to get this or get that, you know. So your deliveries come on a Wednesday, and by Friday you've run out of, I don't know, mango chutney or
don't tell me you opened up a cash and carry just because your chef forgot to order something.
No,
but that would be something.
I think there's always a gap in the market, but that again is to do with your personal situation and circumstances. Oxford, there are several restaurants, not just Indian restaurants, you know, multi-cuisine restaurants. And we do have a Booker Cash and Carry. We do have TRS, which is in Southall, not that far, an hour. But I think to be able to, mine isn't wholly cash and carry. It's not just wholesale, it's also retail. So we cater for the halal clientele. So HMC certified meats.
Really?
Okay. HMC certified meats. So
in terms of Muslims, I mean, is there a...
There are. So you've got an influx of Somalians. I don't know how much... or how many, what the numbers are, but there's certainly evident there are quite a few in Oxford. Then you have the Pakistani, then you have the Bengali. Then
so you've got quite a few Muslims.
Then you have the other cultural. But, you know, that's, the HMC is for Muslims, but same alike. Where we are placed, the universities are fairly close. So you get students coming in for, you know, let's say on a Christmas day, nothing's open.
Well, that's what business entrepreneurs do. They see a market out there. Okay, so you're fulfilling a demand. And so you're supplying that. So that's why you got into the cash and carry. It's not only because your chef forgets to order something. But had it been that,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
wow, you know,
Yeah.
you've got the
think,
money.
I think when you have such situation, it's a convenience, isn't it?
Definitely.
Someone's open till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Look, we need something.
Yeah.
Go and get it. You need coriander. Where are you going to find coriander at 8 o'clock in the evening? You know, go to my place.
Unless you're in
It's
Whitechapel or something.
Exactly. So that's why I said it's about circumstances and situations.
Yeah.
In London, London, the competition is fierce as well.
Right.
You know, it's getting like that everywhere else. But I think you have to move on with the times. You have to make an introduction of products that you see a market.
Yeah.
So you know, if we have back in I don't know, maybe 10 years now,
Yeah.
you had an influx of Polish people,
Right.
Eastern European people. You've seen all the Polish shops open. It's opening more and more now, but then now it's declining again.
Yeah.
You know, because
People are going back. And,
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So likewise, you have to see, we may stock a certain item on there, and we feel actually now this isn't selling as fast as it used to.
Yeah.
You know, maybe keep a smaller number
Right.
and add a stock that's selling faster.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
about volume.
Yeah.
You know, with wholesale, it's all volume. It's not margin like restaurants. You know,
course.
you can't charge £9.95
No,
for
no.
a chicken breast or whatever.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's important to realise.
Definitely. Well, just for the viewers, I mean,
Yeah.
what Samad Bhai just mentioned is the very important key part to business, actually. I mean, again, we've heard of supply and demand, and with regards to what is in demand is what you have to be able to supply. So this is a key element of business, providing people what they need, essential needs, and you know, it's very, very difficult for business to go wrong. Mathematical equation, to be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
right? So that's brilliant. Well, obviously, we're definitely learning something now. You, you're a businessman. Obviously, you've got a couple of businesses. You run that. Now, you've also got a personal life, and we see a lot of that. We see a lot of Bobby with you, and you know, family events and stuff like that. And you seem to be in most of the events that are worth going to, I should say. But how do you manage all that? And is that a part of your business? Is it networking? What is it exactly? Because, you know, we watch you. A lot of us watch you.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, thank you for raising that question. I think me going to such events is one, really getting away from my daily routine.
Busy life.
You know, busy life.
Yeah.
I find it quite relaxing, and I also find it enjoyable to be in the company of my, you know, colleagues and peers and the entrepreneurs of our industry and of our communities. So it's not like it's a chore for me to come to such events.
Right.
I find it enjoyable. I
Okay.
enjoy it, and I think that's quite evident. You know, if you see us on Facebook or any social media, you can't fake a smile. You can't pretend you're enjoying it if you don't enjoy it.
You've got that natural smile, haven't you?
Yeah, I do. I'm blessed with that.
Just for the viewers again, I mean, most of you
thanks
probably,
to my dad.
yes, yes, definitely. I mean, most of our viewers who are watching TV1 right now, I'm sure you've seen Samad Bhai out there, and yeah, if you haven't, watch out for him. You've seen him here today. Watch out for him, and he does entertain you know, a lot of us. So just watch out for him. But anyway, go on. You were saying about the events.
Yeah, the events, as I said, I think it's important. I like to highlight the successful people in our community.
Right.
You know, and it may not be my job to highlight them, and they are already high-profile people.
No, but you're encouraging
but
others.
what I wanted to do initially was, look, if I'm in such an event, and I know I'm with Sharif Bhai, or I'm with Sufi Bhai, or with Munim Bhai, or whoever it is, it doesn't matter. They have a good standing in the community.
Definitely.
And you know, if you are a TV presenter, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are a successful restaurateur, I want people to know that, look, it's not really about the olden days where you're working from 10 in the morning till 2 in the at night.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And, you know,
look, our community have worked hard. Our forefathers,
Yeah.
our older brothers and uncles
Yeah.
and all that, they've worked hard.
Yeah.
And because of their a hard-working
Yeah.
stance that they've taken at those times is why we are able to have an easier life. I mean, you just mentioned about people used to work until 2 o'clock, and then the
Yeah.
customers didn't used to go, especially
Yeah.
in the restaurant trade.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, this is something that we
Yeah.
cannot forget and deny, because restaurant trade is the essence of our Bengali community, if you like. This is something that they started up upon, and it's opened up so many doors, so many windows.
Yes.
Even with these TV channels,
Yeah.
if you look at the founders of
Yeah.
it, I mean,
Yeah.
they've got a bit of experience in the restaurant trade. So we've got to be thankful to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
cannot deny that. But because of them, we have had, we're getting an easier life. We don't have to stay up until 2 o'clock
Yeah.
or 1 o'clock in the morning.
I think it's a conscious choice that
Yeah.
we make nowadays. It again comes back to situation, location,
Yeah.
and about individual merits.
Yeah.
You know, if you are in a city where business really doesn't take off until 10 in the evening.
Yeah.
Let's say
Then you gotta-
Birmingham New Street area,
Right.
for instance, you
Yeah.
know, the Balti Capital, Ladypool Road.
Yeah.
If business starts at 10 at night,
Yeah.
then you will choose whether you want to go into that
Yeah.
business. And
Yeah.
if you chose to go into that business where your business peak hour is from 10
Yeah.
till 2,
Yeah.
then so be it. You may have time
Yeah.
to do something in the day,
Definitely.
but this is not something that I want to do.
Right.
When I opened my business some 25 odd years
Yeah,
ago,
yeah.
11 o'clock was my shutdown time. That's
Right.
it. Regardless.
So this is something that
yeah.
you, like we mentioned, we
Yeah.
actually diverged
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
from the topic. We
Yeah.
were talking about your personal life, but
Yeah.
it's become interesting.
Yeah.
This is something that we had to get our customers kind of used to, if you like.
You have to mold your own customers.
There you go.
You have
That's
to mold
the
them
word,
because when
now they know that they have to leave at 11 or 12,
yeah,
right?
I mean, my latest restaurant,
Yeah.
10 o'clock is closing time.
Yeah.
9:30, we
Yeah.
encourage the customers to have the last orders by
Yeah.
9:30.
Right.
Because if I close at 10 and my last order's at 10, by the time they'll leave, it'll probably be 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
However, if I take my orders by
Yeah.
9:30,
Yeah. Yeah.
their food will be on the table by 10 o'clock.
Absolutely,
You know?
absolutely.
They'll probably be here till 11. You know,
Absolutely.
on a Saturday night, I can do a good night's business, and I can be home
Well,
by
there you
11
go.
o'clock.
Well, that's another thing, you see, as long
Yeah.
as you do a good, nice business,
Yeah.
because one of the reasons that
Yeah.
people used to stay
Yeah.
up late before or open late before is because, well, they've done a good, nice business, I'm
Yeah.
sure, but it's just that extra bit that they wanted as well,
Absolutely,
isn't
absolutely.
it? But now we have become in a position
Yeah.
that we don't really need it.
Yeah.
I mean, comfort to the health and so forth
Yeah.
is important, and
Yeah.
we understand that. But anyway, this is very interesting. But
Yeah.
again, going back to the personal life, what we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
on, how you manage all that. I mean, you've got children as well, haven't
course,
you?
yeah.
Right. Just mention a little bit about your children and the missus as well, and how do you deal with all that, keeping them all happy?
I'm blessed with one wife.
MashaAllah. Yes. Oh, that's a good thing.
one son who's 12, and I have a beautiful young daughter, 2.5, and
Yeah.
one 16 and a half.
MashaAllah. Fantastic.
You say children, so coming back to what you said earlier about everybody wanting to be millionaires and
Yeah.
billionaires,
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with you on that,
Okay.
because I think it's really down to the individual. It's what you are as one being content with. I'm content with what I have, and
Yeah.
I'm not, believe me,
Yeah.
I'm not a billionaire or a millionaire. I'm alhamdulillah.
Now, I like a little bit of disagreement,
Yeah.
so you're gonna tell me why.
I'm blessed with what I have,
Yep.
and I think you have to be content with what you have. If I've asked my son on a number of occasions, look, I know you're 12, but what would you like to do in life, and what kind of income would you like to?
Right.
And he does not want to be a millionaire or a billionaire.
Not yet.
Not yet. He wants to do something that he would enjoy
Yeah.
and has a living out of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite important to realize, because before we did it out of necessity. We had to
Yeah.
make money to establish ourselves. We had to make money in order to support our extended family who are in Bangladesh or Pakistan or
Yes,
wherever
yes,
they
yes.
may be.
Yeah.
It was a compulsory necessity
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
It was placed on us. our children don't have to burden
No.
that on
Yeah.
their shoulders.
I think it was the previous generation,
Yeah.
especially,
Yeah.
that they had to obviously look after their own
Yeah.
kindred,
Yeah.
their families back
Yeah.
home and
Yeah.
so forth, and about building, making
Yeah.
the house
Yeah.
and the utan, if I
Yeah.
should say, and all that. But that's all gone now.
Yeah.
The restaurant business is something that you enjoy.
Of course,
doing,
I
right?
think it's very important to establish
Yeah.
if you don't enjoy something,
Yeah. I was just gonna say
you're not
that.
going to be successful in it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And
now, look, what I was going to mention is, I mean, a lot of people, they look at the restaurant trade as a downside.
Yeah.
Now, it is not. I mean, I personally, additionally doing the presenting
Yeah,
and property business and everything else, I actually enjoy being that 3 or 4 days in my restaurant more than anything else, because it's about how communicating with different people. It's absolutely fantastic. So I just like to say to the viewers, if you think that it's absolutely brilliant to be in the restaurant trade, obviously you got to have a passion behind it. Now, people like let me just mention a few names: Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, all these people. They've been in the fantastic. People will think they've been in a fantastic lifestyle, acting and making movies. What do they do at the end? They open up a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's somewhere to sit. It's somewhere to meet people. It's one of the best trades that you can ever do, guys. I'll tell you, I'm advocating the restaurant business. But it is fun. It is definitely fun. So if you have any other ideas with regards of it not being fun, then you're wrong. But obviously, the thing I wanted to mention is about liking and enjoying what you do. So whatever it is, I'm not trying to push the restaurant business to anybody, but you mentioned about your 12-year-old boy earlier on. You said, what do you enjoy? Now, it is going to be something that you're passionate about, and you got to enjoy whatever you do. So this is one of the keys and one of the things that we'll talk about in terms of business. So thank you for mentioning that. Carry on.
I think also another important ingredient to be successful is variety.
Right.
If I were to be stuck in the restaurant day in, day out, I think I'd go crazy. I really would. If I were to be the chef in my own restaurant, so working maybe 2 days, 3 days in the kitchen and 2 days, 3 days in the front. I don't know, that may break it down a little bit, but I'm still in the same environment. You're in that same fire. And I think when I say variety of life, I've done a number of different businesses just to see what do I really enjoy. I think you have to be in a position to be able to do that in the first place.
That's very important.
You have to be in the position to do that. And then at least you can say, well, I've tried this, but I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy the restaurant trade.
You've done quite a lot of things, and thank you for sharing all this with us. Just quickly, because we are quite short of time. Just quickly mention if there's any preemptive sort of stances or measures that you've taken. Just for sort of, business, we all have struggles in business. We have mishaps and stuff like that. Just, maybe a couple of tips.
Absolutely.
For our viewers.
It's snakes and ladders, everybody. You are going to climb the ladder, and there are going to be a lot of snakes which are going to pull you down. You're going to slip off that ladder. I think it's really important for you to be resilient and really believe in yourself. Of course, mabafordu alage. You got
very
to.
Important.
It's very important that the people, the backbone to your success is underlying factor is parents. You can't get anywhere.
Absolutely.
You can work day in, day out. Obviously, Allah don't tumare ikta.
You have to have that understanding.
You got to where we are. We are Muslim. We are Muslims, and this is one of our core values.
Absolutely.
Is shokhlor dua faitai.
Definitely.
La lillah. I know we're maybe slightly diverting from the subject, but it's very important.
Something that was going to come into
very important from what you earn. তুমি হিসাব করে তোমার জকাত তোমার লাইলিল্লাহ জকাত খফরাইতা দিতাই we my wife and I, my family in general, my mom is very, very
stringent on
very pious when it comes to that sort of
Fantastic.
thing.
So you got to.
She gives me a telling off sometimes, when I'm not doing the 5 prayers, Allah maghfarta.
We should encourage.
We should encourage. At the end of the day, we are Muslim. We have that faith. Because আমি always কই একজনের বেতনের উপরে কতজনের রিজেক.
Absolutely.
One person earning from my restaurant has 10 other families supporting him. Supporting from that income. and my income is supporting maybe 20 others, you know, and my income being in a position that Allah has graced me to be in is being able to support other charities and other people who are not so well
I'm sure
off.
you're involved in quite a few charities. Look, inspirational words from Samad Bhai. What he just mentioned about the du'as. So I really want to thank him for those, especially those last words that he just mentioned. Is absolutely very, very important for especially us Muslims, and we have to take that in board whichever we can. So Samad Bhai, thank you for mentioning that. That was one of your tips, you know, parents' du'as and stuff like that. Give us another 2 tips in terms of business and how to climb the ladder.
Climb the ladder, obviously, unless you have guidance. Unfortunately, I was kind of on my own.
Okay.
I made a lot of money in my younger years.
Fantastic.
And I lost a lot of money in my younger years.
That's an experience.
Because lack of guidance.
Right.
You have £1 million. You give £1 million to an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. What would the mentality of an 18-year-old or 19-year-old be? That would be to go and spend, right? Let's go and have a party. Let's get my friends. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's buy this fast car. Let's buy this Armani suit. That kind of thing. But if you have someone guiding
you, they will.
A trustee, let's say, saying, right, I've given you £1 million, but this is what I want you to do to make
that's why they hire a lot of financial advisors.
This is what I want you to do. Make this 10 million into 10 million. Invest 100,000 here, 100,000 there, whatever. Unfortunately, I didn't get that. So I learnt the hard way. You know, I lost a lot of money. What I wanted to conclude was, it does make you a stronger person.
Definitely.
If you lose a lot of money and gives you that drive to make it back again because you believe in yourself, you know you can do it. And self-belief is the most important person, because if by you don't believe in yourself, heck, no one is.
Nobody
is going to believe in you.
Well, going back to the viewers, thank you, Samad Bhai, for all these inspirational words, especially at the end. Look, believe in yourself. That's one of the tips, and Moimurabi's du'as, right? And obviously, you know, in business, with your ethics and morals in place, you know, be honest and so forth. Thank you, Samad Bhai, again for those words. Now we've got to wrap it up. So I'd like to thank Samad Bhai once again for coming onto the show. And next week we'll have another entrepreneur who will be sharing his passion and the drive and how he became successful. So until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.